within your budget and your expectations for your print campaign. And then the last thing is a high reader engagement. Research actually shows that print readers have a more focused and a longer attention span with fewer distractions. So they've made a conscious decision to read the content that they've sat down with, and therefore they're more engaged than they are with a lot of other media outlets instead of like scrolling or something like that. So because reading speeds with print are slower, it also leads to higher comprehension and recall. This does include ads as well, not just content. So the last thing is that research also shows that because printed content requires a sensory involvement, they're touching it and they're feeling it, and they're actually reading the product, it also engages them and contributes to higher engagement as well. So just a few little tidbits on print marketing there. So I want to move on and talk about local print publications. You all have probably seen them if you're local to the market. This is by no means a full list, but I did want to just give some examples in different types. So first, obviously I'll mention Community Impact Newspaper. That's obviously who I work for. We're a free direct mail newspaper. So this is content with ads, and it is direct mail, so you know exactly what your circulation is. Second newspaper option is subscription-based or racked publications. These are also great because you're getting people that are subscribing to them, and obviously they're interested in receiving it, or they're picking it up out in the community. Katy Times and Katy Rancher are two of those that are local. Another is coupon publications. You've probably seen several of these. Good Sense and Pocketbook are two of them that are here. Now, these are not content focused. These are strictly going to be just coupons. So anyone that's running here would want to make sure that they have an offer to be included. And then there are lifestyle magazines with a few listed here: Forp and Christian, Absolutely, Swoon, and Lifestyles and Homes. So lifestyle magazines are typically going to be glossy. They're going to have feel-good articles, some local event coverage, so some content like that, along with, of course, ads. And then lastly, there's neighborhood newsletters. And there's tons out there. So just depending on where you're wanting to target, where your business is, you could definitely look into a neighborhood newsletter that could reach anywhere from 300 or 500 to 1,000 or more. And then let's talk about I don't see any questions. So let's talk about direct mail benefits during COVID-19, because you're probably thinking, why now? So there are actually several benefits to marketing right now with a stay-at-home order. People are at home. I don't know about you guys, but for me, going out to the mailbox and walking in my neighborhood is like my daily outing. So I'm sure I'm not the only one. People are getting their mail and it's fun. Second of all, we have more time available to consume content and live kind of that slower pace of life than we did before. And some people are trying to soak that up. So even if you're still, working like I am, I don't have a commute. So that does give me more time. Weekend outings aren't really a thing anymore. So there is more time available to consume content. We also want to feel like we're more connected to our communities right now, more than ever. And because of that, there's a huge desire to support local. And so it's important that we know what businesses are open, what we can do to support them, and be mutually beneficial, something that I need with something that you offer. So these are all great reasons to market right now. And I'm going to talk a little bit more right now, just briefly hit on some of the direct mail options. So besides the publications we've talked about, there are some options that you can take advantage of to get your business out there, including postcards. You've probably seen these in your mailbox. There's a variety of size, cardstock thickness, print quality, and color with these. And these are solo, so they ride by themselves in the mail. They're not attached to a product, and they can be customized to a specific routes that you're interested in. The cost does vary based on what you're looking at, but it could range anywhere from 20 cents to 55 cents or more per piece with a postcard. Another option is an insert. Now, these are typically going to be alongside or with or inside of another publication, similar to the ones we've talked about. The most common sizes are an 8.5 by 11, but they can vary. With inserts, you can get cardstock or glossy, so that's kind of nice that you can get that glossy feel and touch. And there are folding options, multiple page options. You could do a 4-page insert, more of like a booklet. or something along those lines. Again, you can target your mailing as well. And your costs here are going to range anywhere from 11 cents a piece all the way up to who knows what, depending on how many you're looking to produce and distribute. Another thing you can do are personal letters. These can be customized to your business. You could do mail merge through Word, which many of us are familiar with your customer list or your prospect list. And these, of course, are based on weight if you're just sending it regular through the post office. And then lastly, you've got the business newsletter. There are vendors you can go through to actually produce business newsletters, and the cost can vary depending on the format and exactly what kind of content you're putting in there. Because with these newsletters, it's going to be content married with talking about your business. So those can range depending on the vendor you use and what you're looking at, but that is another option. So now that I've talked a little bit about some of the direct mail options, I'm actually going to pass it to Susan, and she's going to talk a little bit more about some of those distribution options for those products, as well as email marketing.
Whoops, sorry, I was on mute. As Christina mentioned, with the stay-at-home orders making us look forward to going to the mailbox, your audience is going to be more engaged than ever before. So let's take a look at a couple of ways that you can do direct mail. You can utilize an established marketing company to help yourself with through a turnkey operation. If you partner with a vendor, you're going to be able to have them draw up the list, do the creative and artwork, do the deployment, and also provide campaign reporting for you. Vendors can provide a very reliable scrub list. They have very set rates, and their targeting options are top-notch. With established route list at Community Impact, we're a full saturation distribution model. However, with our direct mail postcard options, you can target based on the geographic area right down to the U.S. postal carrier route level. In other words, you could deliver only 20,000 postcards instead of our full distribution of 100,000. This is usually a sufficient model for 90% of the businesses who are looking to target local customers based on income, household value, age, or presence of children in the home. However, if you have a high ticket item, you may want to look at a very customized list, which you can rent through any reputable direct mail company. If your business is very niche, such as selling mink coats for $10,000, your direct mail list might target women over 40 with a household income of over 200,000, a home value of over 500,000, and in a particular zip code. So direct mail can be very effective with a customized list for a niche product with a high return. If you're selling $5 candles, not so much. Next slide, please, Matthew. You can also do distribution by doing it yourself. You may be able to do lower quantities since there are no minimums if you're doing it yourself. However, your cost per piece may be much higher, your saturation may be lower, and it can be very labor intensive to prepare and adhere to the post office mailing criteria. You can certainly print your own postcards through Vistaprint or through your local printer. You can also utilize every door direct mail through the U.S. Postal Service. This means manually selecting your routes, doing your own creative, and printing the pieces on your own or through an outsource, which of course means additional expense, and sorting them properly according to the USPS standards, and that can be very time consuming and additional cost for your business. Undoubtedly, you have some business database lists that you have from your own customer list, inquiries, past clients, current clients, and so forth. Cleaning up your list, however, in order to get it ready to mail can be time consuming and expensive. Next slide. Benefits of email marketing. Well, right now we're all working from home, so we're on our computers. And what about our social circle? We're working from home on our computers, or we're looking at our phones for social media. We're looking for deals, so we're on our computers or our phones. And that's why direct mail or email marketing is such an attractive option right now. And email works. 72% of people prefer to receive brand communications by email than any other platform. working from home has increased our attention to digital media. Email marketing derives traffic directly to your website or to your social media. It helps you build your brand, and it allows you to be very specific in who you target, either by demographics or by geography. Next slide. With email list, you can actually build your own organically. You probably have a business database of current clients, prospects, previous clients, and your business services were of interest to these folks at one time or another. So use this opportunity to reconnect and find a way for your business to shine during this pandemic. You've also undoubtedly got a lot of personal connections. These can have come from networking events, community events you've attended, where you've met community members, partners, and leaders. Use this time to prepare a message that is relevant to them. And like the Chamber, there are many organizations out there, but many people are part of industry organizations, nonprofits, other networking groups, organizations your children or family are involved in, social groups, and so forth. Now, there are systems available to help manage your own direct mail or email marketing. Those include MailChimp and Constant Contact. But be careful, your list needs to be fairly clean. In the olden days, when I was down at the Victoria paper, we actually used MailChimp to do our own email marketing campaign, and we got blacklisted because our spam was too high. So I don't know that MailChimp still does that, but you need to be very careful in making sure that your list is very clean. Next slide. A better option for you may be paid email marketing. eBlasts are very similar to direct mail in that you can specify demographic criteria, such as a 5-mile radius around your location, and including only homeowners with a household income of $500,000 or whatever your parameter might be. You can do the creative on your own or through a vendor, and cost for eBlasts can vary tremendously from $1,000 and up. Positive aspects of doing paid email marketing: it's very measurable. You can measure opens and clicks. You can drive traffic immediately to your website or your social media pages. And vendors are also going to be very compliant with CAN spam legislation, and they scrub the list to keep them current, eliminating bounce backs, do not mail requests, and duplicates. On the other hand, eBlasts can be costly, and the minimums involved in how many emails you have to purchase at a time might be cost prohibitive. It may be too broad of a net for your service area. And also just consider that if you're using an eBlast, generally those are not opt-in, they're pretty much cold leads. However, if you do a sponsored e-newsletter through an established company or brand, you're partnering with somebody who has credibility and content that recipients have opted in to receive. Typically, these e-newsletters have a higher open rate, and their set cost range on range widely based on the vendor, but they can be as low as $50 to $100 and up. Because they're opt-in, the recipients here are going to be much warmer leads. On the other hand, e-newsletters don't generally offer any targeting options. The lists are smaller since it's opt-in subscribers, and it's restricted to the message going out at a specific delivery date and time, rather than being able to schedule it at your convenience as you can with an eBlast. Cyril will now take us through more digital options.
Great, thank you, Susan. So we're going to go over some digital marketing options and opportunities that you have available to help market your business. So we'll start off with what's digital marketing. And digital marketing really is anything that's done online. We all know that we're online all day, every day, probably more than we want to. And so the one thing when you're considering digital marketing, you have to, and really with any type of marketing, you have to understand who your customers are and how your customers find you today. So the initial goals with digital marketing and in marketing is you want to make sure once you figure out who your customers are and where your customers are, you want to grab their attention. You want to drive customers to your website. We're talking about digital marketing. We want them to join our email list so we can send them information about our product or services, and ultimately lead into a buy decision. So, I like to, when we look at digital marketing, there's a number of options that we're going to talk about. And one thing that's important to remember is that we don't have to do it all at once. And that, as a business, you go through different stages in your business. And as you go through different stages, you can focus on different strategies and tactics. You don't have to do everything right away. Similar to going to a gym, when you first start out, don't go and start bench pressing 225 pounds. You start off by stretching and gaining strength. And as you get better and more comfortable with being at the gym, you get stronger, you add to what you're already doing. So if we look at the online statistics, it's kind of staggering to think about the number of searches, and this is kind of my favorite stat, that currently there's over 100 billion Google searches that are being processed per month. It's amazing, and I know most of us, all of us, are online, and when we're online, we're searching, we're looking for information, services, and products. And so some stats that aren't on this slide is that if we look at the different age groups, 100% of 18 to 29-year-olds are online. 97% of people between the ages of 30 and 49 are online. 88% of people between the ages of 50 and 74 are online. And even 73% of people aged over the age of 75 are online. So the numbers are staggering. So it's important to ensure that you have a digital marketing presence as part of your overall comprehensive strategy. So we're going to talk about this is going to be a quick overview, the 5 digital marketing options, tactics that are available to you. They include web design, your local visibility online, search engine optimization, search engine marketing, and social media marketing. And, as I mentioned earlier, you don't have to feel like you have to do everything all at once. These options can be used individually, and you try different tactics at different stages of your business. The good news is, as you get more comfortable and familiar with each tactic, they're all complementary also, so they can all work together to help you find your perfect customer. So we talked about 100 billion Google searches per month, and having to understand what your customers want from you. So how do you figure that out? And that's an important piece of digital marketing. How do you figure out what your customers want? To start understanding that there are 3 types of searches that customers use. The first type of search is an informational search. And an example of that is, what is the best type of laptop for photography? Or the best type of camera for photography? Then there's the navigational search, searching for a specific website. Example, take me to apple.com, or type in apple.com if you know the website. And then you have the transactional search, which you're looking to buy something, and your search might go something like big deals on MacBooks. So with these different types of searches, you're trying to understand what your customer wants. So how do you do that? Really listen to your customers and keeping a running list of every time someone in your market or one of your customers mentions something about any of the following: a pain point, a fear, a hope, a dream, or an obstacle. And these are the things that are important for your customers. Evaluate what content your competitors are providing that you currently don't have, and figure out how to provide 10 times more of the content and value the customers are looking for. And we'll talk about content a couple of times, because content is king when it comes to digital marketing and online searches. But providing relevant, high quality content on your website will help you rank higher in all the search results. The first thing we're going to look at is website design. And your website is your identity. It shows your authority and details what you can provide for your customer as far as your products or services. So the components of website design that are important that we need to concentrate on when we're considering designing a website or redesigning a website are site authority. And site authority basically describes to your customer the relevant, how relevant you are on a specific subject area or industry, whether it's healthcare, construction, or selling a service. So with site authority, they primarily look at the content and information quality and how old your website or the site age is. Your content needs to make sure that it engages visitors and offers clear navigation to other areas of your site. And this kind of goes hand in hand with site quality and speed. And a good website designer will be able to integrate all of these components to make sure that you have the best website. Your content should be detailed, not just wordy. It needs to be easy to read. It needs to be well formatted and full of quality images that are informative. And so a good rule of thumb here really is if you look at your website, would you find it interesting to read? Are you proud of it? Does it give you information that you're looking for? So moving to the second visual marketing tactic is local visibility. Google My Business is an option and a free tool that lets you manage how your business appears on Google search and maps. This includes information like business name, location, hours, and your reviews. Adding photos to Google My Business helps customers learn where and how people are searching for you. If you're just getting started with your website and local searches, your Google My Business Place listing is a great place to focus your early efforts. When people search for a product or service near them, they're usually very close to making a purchase. So usually 50% of those who conduct a local search think, watch repair near me. They visit the store that same day. So it's important the information about your business shows up when people search Google, and Google needs to make sure that it's accurate, complete, and optimized, meaning that all the information is there that they need to get in touch with you. So then that moves into the next piece, which is NAP consistency. NAP stands for name, address, and phone number. There are over 100 online directories that can list your business, and I've listed a couple of the top directories that has information on your business, but like I mentioned, there's over 100 plus online directories. It's important that your information is accurate across all the different directories online. In order for customers and search engines to trust the data that they find across the web about your business, you need to take every effort to ensure that it's consistent. If there are inconsistencies, it can misdirect customers and cost you revenue. And in addition, search engines like Google encounter inconsistencies and become less trusting of the data that you have about your company. All right, moving to our next strategy, we have search engine optimization. We can go to the next slide, Matthew. So search engine optimization, or also known as SEO, is the practice of increasing both quality and quantity of website traffic. This directly ties into searching online. So with search engine optimization, we concentrate on bringing the right customer to you at the right time so that they can have the information that they need to make a decision purchase. With search engine optimization, SEO, also known as organic, they are non-paid search engine results. So like we talked about earlier, SEO is about understanding what people are searching for online, the answers they're seeking, the words they're using, and the type of content that they will consume. Knowing the answers to these questions will allow you to connect to the people who are searching online for the solutions that you offer. If knowing your audience, so it's important to know your audience's intent and what they're looking for. The other type of search engine optimization is also called search engine marketing. Search engine marketing is a type of digital marketing that aims at increasing the visibility of your website using paid methods. Search engine marketing is one of the most effective ways to grow your business and reach new customers quickly. So we'll talk about the difference between SEO and search engine marketing, which is also known as SEM, in just a minute. So it's important that you use organic strategies, which is SEO, to attract traffic over the long term. And it's more of, I like to delineate it by thinking of SEO as a marathon and SEM as a sprint. With SEM, you're going to get your results faster because it's paid, but it's also more costly. Whereas SEO will take time and works complementary with SEM. So different types of SEM, I'm sure you've heard of PPC. You can do, which stands for pay per click. And those are the ads that you see when you do a search in Google or when you're scrolling through your Facebook feed. You'll see that the different ads that pop through. And anytime you click on one of those ads, the company, you, will end up paying for that click. 35% of product searches start on Google, and 71% of consumers begin the buying journey by performing research on the search engine. So it's important that you use the strategies of search engine marketing and search engine optimization to be able to drive customers to your website to find what you need. And as we talked about earlier, that's through content and through understanding what they're searching for. So which one's better, search engine optimization or marketing? Really, it just depends on how fast and how patient you are. As I mentioned earlier, PPC is more of a sprint. And if your campaign isn't working, you'll know pretty soon, and you can switch strategies and start all over again. Whereas with SEO, it's a marathon, it's going to take time, but with SEO, you'll see longer term results that aren't as costly. The last thing we're going to talk about is search media marketing. And this all, search media marketing, if you look at the stats, 3.5 billion social media users worldwide. I'm sure most of you have some sort of social media account. Some of the more popular ones: Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, Foursquare, and Pinterest. Not surprisingly, Facebook is the most popular social media platform. And as you can see with the stat for number 6, 90.4% of millennials, 77.5% of Gen X, and almost 50% of baby boomers are active social media users. So it's an important part of your overall marketing strategy. And if you haven't looked into being active on social media, it's probably a good idea to at least get your feet wet on one or two platforms to become, to create that brand awareness. And social media really does create brand awareness and has become the brand experience where customers truly expect to connect with their companies. And there are a lot of outlets available. And like I said, there's Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, which is on here. And it's important to be on one or two. Don't try to be on all of them. It's more important to be on one or two and be on there consistently, providing content and information and creating a brand presence so your friends and family and your biggest fans can come listen to what you have to brag about. And with Facebook, my suggestion is really start with Facebook. Facebook is all about loyalty. So you can use it as a place to post pictures, give updates, promote new initiatives, or simply interact with your biggest fans. And then again, there are the other platforms with Twitter, YouTube, Foursquare, and Pinterest. And that is the high-level overview I have for you guys about your digital marketing options. Thank you for your attention. Matthew?
Yeah, so we appreciate everybody. We appreciate everybody being here today. We just go in real quick to see if we have any questions. If anybody has any questions, feel free to type them in. If not, we'll keep this open for an extra 5-10 minutes or so. Yeah, if you have questions, feel free to pop in. Looks like we've got one. Thank you, Ida. Great job. We appreciate that. Like I said, we'll keep this open for a few minutes. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in, and our team here will be able to answer them for you. Looks like we have a question from Jordan. How do I get started with community impact? Christina, Susan, can you guys take that one?
Christina, I'll defer to you.
Yeah, I mean, feel free to reach out to Susan. She's the general manager here. Her email is up on the screen right now. So Susan is our Katy general manager, and she'll be happy to answer any questions that you have specifically about that product or any of the products, since we do offer, besides the publication, we have a lot of direct mail options and email like she talked about too. And it looks like Greg has a question about the mail out marketing. And again, yeah, I'm happy to answer any specific questions about mailing direct mail. So if you're looking for direct mail options, feel free to shoot me an email. My email's up on the screen right now. I'd be happy to answer your questions or have a phone call and go over some options with you a little bit more directly based on your business of what you could look at.
Anybody else have any questions? Now's your time to get them answered. All right, well, thank you again to Christina, Susan, and Cyril for your very informative presentation. Obviously, if anybody needs to contact or is looking to contact anybody, oh, hold on, we just got another one. Who should we contact for impact newspapers for donations and sanitizers? And I believe Christina took care of that one. Okay. We hope that everyone enjoyed this call. We have another one tomorrow with Justin Lumadou with the U.S. Chamber of Commerce talking about the Paycheck Protection Program. And then we have another Zoom webinar on Friday with Dr. Karen Jaggers of Stoken Jaggers and Associates with managing the stresses caused by COVID-19. If we don't have any other questions in the next minute or two, I'll go ahead and shut this off. And thank you for everything, everybody. We appreciate you attending.